In the house, we've got the executive director of the American Diabetes Association, Martha Atwood. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Tom.
To my right, her left is Kelsey McGee. She is with
First Bank and Trust.
And what do you do there?
I am the assistant controller up in the accounting department.
The money bag.
That's right.
All right, and you're also coordinator for Fajita Fest, and this is a fundraiser for ADA with Abuelos.
That's right.
Okay, so tell us all about it.
So this is our 4th year to partner with Abuelos, and we are really excited to host this event again. It's a lot of fun. We will kick off at 5 o'clock. It's going to be out on the patio. We've got music entertainment provided by Jenny Dale Lord. Tickets are for $20 for adults and $10 for kids. The little kiddos from 5 and under get to eat free.
Okay,
so
now what day is this actually?
this is going to be on Tuesday, August.
1 week from today?
Yes, that's right.
August 18th.
August 18th, all right. All right, so can you get your ticket in advance? You just walk up? What's the deal?
All of the above. We're going to have tickets available at all of our locations, at the center location on 98th and Slide, and at 7806 Indiana, and then on our 22nd branch on Indiana as well.
That would be all the locations of First Bank and Trust.
That's correct.
Okay. Can you get them in advance at Abuelos, or just, I mean, is it going to be one of those situations where it's better if you get your ticket in advance, because if you do, you can just like kind of dive into the food and be more gluttonous than you could have if you hadn't?
I don't think there's any advantage. We'd love to pre-sell as much as we can, but if you just want to come on out and get your ticket at the door, we can do that as well.
Okay. Many moons ago, I was working at this particular radio station, and this radio station has been transplanted, I think, into 2 new locations since then. I think that was at 82nd and Quaker where Hayashi sits. Then they moved out to 14,200 Slide, and now we're at 82nd and Quaker on the southwest corner on the 3rd floor. But that's why I first met Martha Atwood, and it was relative a Kiss a Pig contest, and we were raising money for diabetes then. And, you know, I got to tell you, Martha, you know, I did that when you asked me if I wanted to do this, and I said, no, I don't want to be on the board because it's, you know, then you have to follow the rules. But I did that, and I said, yeah, I'll jump in because my mom was diabetic. My mom actually had endometriosis, had to have a hysterectomy, boom, sent her over the edge. And so that's why I jumped in on this thing. Little did I know that several years later that, you know, my life would begin to suck in terms of dining sumptuously because I came down with diabetes. You know, so, I mean, who knew? And back then there was a lady, I forget what her name is, but she was the lady that had the first insulin pump in this area.
Yeah.
You know, so what's American Diabetes Association doing now? And you know what? We beat the bass drum for a lot of different people, you know, and I'm you know, like I'm diabetic and I haven't been really beating my own bass drum, which I probably should. So, you know, shame on me. So you'll have to keep my phone number and keep me honest.
I will.
Okay,
definitely.
so what's cooking with the ADA?
Well, Tom, I'm glad you invited us to come. The American Diabetes Association in Lubbock is a very active organization. Just in a nutshell, we put our money into research, information, and advocacy. We have funded researchers at Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center, one of which is doing very cutting-edge type 1 research. Dr. Dufour serves on our board and has done some tremendous things and is doing some things that could really provide a real positive future for those with type 1 diabetes. And oftentimes research that is for one type of diabetes affects the other type. So, and then we've also funded another researcher at Texas Tech that talks about wounds that won't heal with diabetes. So locally we funded research, and then we also are the number one source of information in the world for diabetes, not only online and by phone, but we do some educational programs. We do a couple of programs for type 2. We have one actually November the 7th where we're bringing in an individual who is called an A1C champion, and he's going to talk about how his diabetes has been kept in check and the things that he's doing. We try to educate concerning diet and exercise and those kinds of things. And one of the things that I do that's probably the most exciting and challenging and rewarding as I go visit all the kiddos and teens in the hospital who have type 1 diabetes. In fact, I saw 2 kids last week. We do a lot of programs for type 1 kiddos. We're bringing in Charlie Kimball, who's an Indianapolis or Indy race car driver, on October the 31st. He has type 1 diabetes. He'll talk to the kids and the parents. We've brought in a Pittsburgh Steeler who has type 1. We've brought in a triathlete. We try to get positive role models in front of these kids to let them know that they can live with diabetes a long, successful life. And so we really are very, very involved. We advocate for people with diabetes. We have a Safe at School program if kiddos are not being treated properly, although in the Lubbock area the schools work very well with kids with diabetes. But, kids have rights. And so the American Diabetes Association represents kids with diabetes. We also represent maybe professional truck drivers, such as that, advocating for people with diabetes.
Right. Okay, just to let people know the difference between type 1 and type 2, type 1 is where your pancreas just pretty much just totally shuts down.
Right.
Type 2 is where your pancreas isn't necessarily functioning properly.
Correct.
And creating enough insulin, which is, kind of like the Velcro that attaches sugar to the red blood cells so your body can digest it.
Correct.
So essentially speaking, if you are one of those people that gets low blood sugar because you don't eat, which is known as hypoglycemia, that's kind of like diabetes in reverse. That may be an overproduction, which might be a sign that down the road your pancreas may flip on you and go the other way.
Sure, yeah.
So anyway, it's a serious thing, and decades ago they were calling it the silent killer. But statistically speaking, how many people are affected diabetes? I know it's millions of people.
Right. Yeah, there's 30 million people in America who have diabetes that is known. In the Lubbock area, the estimates, and these are very conservative, are about 33,000 people in Lubbock. But we also have an additional, say, 87,000 people who have prediabetes, which basically means that your blood sugar, you have not been diagnosed with diabetes, but your blood sugar runs just on the border of high all the time. And normal blood sugar would be like 70 to 110. So you would traditionally run, 150 or whatever, 140, but you haven't been diagnosed with diabetes. So if you take the two put together, 33,000 with diagnosed cases, 87,000 with prediabetes, and put those together, it's about half our population really that's affected.
Oh, you're talking not thousands, millions.
No, I'm talking about in Lubbock.
Oh, Lubbock.
In
Lubbock,
yeah.
Okay.
33,000 and 86,000 in Lubbock. So, but that doesn't include, obviously, the family members, because diabetes is a family disease. Everybody's affected.
The button pusher on the other side of the glass there, Jessica, her dad and sister are type 1 and her mom's type 2.
Is that right?
So basically, hate to say it, girlfriend, but, you might be doomed. You might be in for it, but... the thing is you can, live a normal life. The thing is, it's just like, and you should really appreciate, being and living non-diabetic and living a normal life, because it's just like, you go to a Christmas party, or you go to a birthday party, or you go, all they have is sweet tea. All they have is punch. And it's just like, ugh,
Yeah. Well, people that have diabetes, and you know this, I'm sure, Tom, but people who have diabetes count carbs. And the wonderful thing about diabetes over the course of my being involved with them is there have been many, many changes in the whole diet concept. It used to be that you just absolutely withdrew all sugar from your diet. And now you count carbs so that a child could go to a birthday party, for example, take a very small piece of cake, scrape off the icing, and count that cake into their carb count for the day. I mean, obviously, you're not going to do that every day. But people who have diabetes do count carbs, and so there's been a whole new world opened up to them in many ways in terms of their diet. There have been lots and lots of progression in terms of insulin, in terms of delivery of insulin. There are all kinds of new pumps. The pump manufacturers are just coming out with something new all the time. There's a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor that a lot of people wear. one of the people that helps me a lot is a young lady who's a cheerleader out at, cheerleader and a volleyball player, out at Shallow Water. And she wears her pump when she plays volleyball and when she's a cheerleader. And over on the side, the kids are watching her sugar with a little device. It's called sugar surfing, and they're watching her sugar, make sure she doesn't go too low, make sure she doesn't go too high. I mean, there's a lot of things. We don't have the cure. And that's the number one thing that everybody wants, including us. I mean, that's the thing that would end this disease. The mission of the American Diabetes Association is to prevent and cure diabetes and to improve the lives of all people affected by diabetes. So what we try to do, in addition to putting money towards the prevention and cure, is we try to make a person's life better until that cure happens.
Right, I get it. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Trust me. Okay, Martha Atwood, Executive Director of the American Diabetes Association. If somebody has any questions real quick, how do they find your phone number or get in touch with you?
Our number is 806-794-0691, or you can just call 1-800-DIABETES. We also have a wonderful website. It's www.diabetes, and let me spell that for you, diabetes.org.
Okay, all right. Okay, Kelsey McGee, First Bank and Trust. Let's recap the event again. The date is 1 week from today.
Yes, Tuesday, August 18th. And again, you can buy tickets at the door or at any of our locations. And they are $20 for adults, $10 for kids 5 to 12, and kids under 5 eat free.
All right. As Wilford Brimley would say, it's the right thing to do and a tasty way to do it.
Which he does have diabetes about.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does. Anyway, see you guys at Fajita Fest 1 week from today. That's Abuelo's at 82nd and Quaker.
It's going to be fun.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tom.